This is one of the most famous destinations in the Dolomites. Seceda mountain is in first place among the top 3 locations to visit in the Dolomites, leaving Lago di Braias and Trecime di Lavaredo behind. But there is one problem. So many people show online the beauty of this place, but totally forget to share the real, often painful truth about visiting it. We learned it from our own experience. So, if you would like to see an honest review of Seceda mountain in the Dolomites, just stick here for a couple more minutes. The Dolomites are divided into 3 regions: the Western, Central and Eastern Dolomites. To visit Seceda, you'll need to reach Ortisei, located in the Western Dolomites. Ortisei is the Italian name of the town. On the map, you will also see the name Saint Ulrich, which is its German variation. Our morning started with an early wake-up. We were leaving 20 minutes from the destination, and we wanted to reach the place by 8:30 a.m. when the first cable car launches to the top. The cable car is the most popular way to reach the Seceda summit, but not the only one. You can really hike to the top of the mountain, and there are numerous different routes for this. But since we are not hikers, we arrived at the main Seceda cableway station. We wanted to be among the first people to get into the cable car before the line became too crowded. And that's because we'd been to this exact spot the day before, around 11 a.m., and saw a really huge number of people. Well, our expectations of a quiet morning were totally destroyed, because no matter whether it's 8 a.m. or 11 a.m., there will always be a lot of people here. But don't let that scare you. All people are waiting for the cable car, and the line moves pretty fast. What seems like an hour of waiting is in reality about 20 minutes. And you are moving the whole time, since every few minutes a new cable car takes 8 people from the line. But while many purchase a ticket that includes the ride to the top and back, we decided to do things differently. We bought a ticket only to the top and planned to hike down on our own, enjoying the views that promised to be amazing. Whether it was a good decision or not, you'll find out very soon. Meanwhile, we squeezed into the cable car and started going up. The cableway to Seceda consists of 2 sections. The first one, called Ortisei Furnes, takes you in a small cable car that fits a maximum of 8 adults. It brings you to the second station, called Furnes Seceda, where you join the line for a much bigger cabin that can fit around 30 to 40 people. We wish we could say that the journey to the top is wonderful, relaxing and exciting, but for us, it was far from it. The Seceda cableway was built and opened in 1962, with significant modernization carried out in far 1999. Today the cabin windows are scratched with time, making it almost impossible to look outside and enjoy the views. The number of people in each cabin is overwhelming, making you think only about the moment of reaching the final station. But don't let the crowds at the bottom and in the cable cars scare you, because everything changes when you reach the top. Before visiting, you might think that Seceda is just one viewpoint, but that's far from reality. When you reach the top, the first thing you see is endless green hills surrounded by breathtaking mountain peaks. Numerous small trails lead in every direction. That's why, no matter how many people were at the bottom or in the cable cars, they all spread out once they reached the top. Since our main goal was to reach the Seceda viewpoint, we turned left and followed a small path along the hillside. The walk is very relaxing, and believe us, you will stop many times to take photos with that famous Seceda view. But reaching the mountain itself is actually a bit tricky. Right on the way, you will reach a strange checkpoint. Here you have 2 options: pay an extra €5 per person and continue straight to the mountain, or save your money and explore the valley instead. Seeing this extra payment point here really surprised us. At the moment, it sounds like nonsense to pay more just for the chance to walk a few more meters and reach the mountain you came here to see in the first place. But this has more meaning than it might seem. You will notice that almost the entire trail is fenced, even though all you can see around is grass. But what looks like just grass to most tourists is actually valuable pasture land. Local farmers use these natural alpine grasses and wildflowers as feed for their animals. Another important thing to know is that this famous Seceda viewpoint is located on private land. These pastures belong to local South Tyrolean farmers, who use them for grazing livestock. The situation became difficult after Seceda turned into one of the most popular destinations in the Dolomites, attracting thousands of visitors every day. This has had a huge impact on the local farming families who own the land. People walk off the path, damaging the grass needed to feed local cattle, or leave behind trash that has to be cleaned up. Since the government didn't provide an effective solution, compensate the farmers for the damage, or regulate tourist traffic on private land, the landowners decided to take action themselves. They installed a turnstile and started charging a €5 fee for tourists to cross a short section of their private meadow and reach the Seceda viewpoint. This helps them to reduce the number of tourists in this exact area, since many people don't want to pay €5 just to pass through. This way, the landowners preserve important grazing land and draw attention to the growing problem of over-tourism. Whether this is the right way or not is up to you to decide, but we paid the €5 per person and continued our walk. What's funny is that the closer we got to the mountain, the less it looked like the famous Seceda you see in photos. The reason is that most photos online are actually taken before this photo point and from much farther away. Up close, Seceda looks just like huge rocks with a very steep cliff. But here you will find a few photo spots with a view of the valley and the rocks, and even if you are traveling alone, friendly people are usually happy to take a picture for you. Honestly, we spent no more than 5 minutes here. Seceda is really much better to view from afar. Walking back down into the valley, you will reach Troier hut, a lovely place to rest, have a meal and enjoy breathtaking views of the valley and the surrounding mountain peaks. This is where we took a break to enjoy some delicious food, a coffee and simply soak in the atmosphere. It probably won't surprise you that the prices are quite high here. For one schnitzel with potatoes, one apple strudel and 2 lattes we paid €40. But no doubt it was very delicious, and we definitely recommend visiting this place. Here I also changed into more comfortable clothes, because we were planning to hike all the way down back to Ortisei. Of course, you can choose any direction and explore the surrounding destinations in this area. We shared more routes in our blog post, so don't forget to check it for more information. But since we left our car not far from the main Seceda station, we chose the route signs that led to Ortisei. But hiking down was a tricky decision, and let me try to explain why. No doubt on the way you will see the speechless beauty of the Dolomites, walking down trails that not many people take, and seeing the mountains and valleys from a side not many get to see. If you love photography or videography, you will stop every 5 minutes. We can guarantee this because all 3 camera batteries I took with me were completely drained. Also, besides walking through the valley, the route smoothly goes into a forest area, and for almost half of the way back, you are walking surrounded by gorgeous forest. But here is the tricky part. Even though it's a hike down, it won't pass without consequences. Walking 2 hours straight down, with some flat areas and some rough, steep paths leading down, will be challenging for your knees, calves and feet, especially during the last 30 minutes of the walk. That's why, if you choose this option for your trip, here are a few tips from us. Comfortable shoes are a must, and don't underestimate this. We were wearing very comfortable sneakers, but even then, blisters appeared, so having band-aids is a lifesaver here. Take breaks along the way. You will see a few nice huts where you can take a 20-minute break, or you can have your own picnic. Of course, you must have some snacks if you plan to hike down, but we would not recommend walking straight down for 2 hours without a break. Your legs won't forgive you for this for the next few days. Follow the signs, not your phone. It's nice to have Google Maps open, but sometimes it can lead you through a route that wasn't made for a comfortable walk. So follow the signs along the way to comfortably reach your final destination. Our new favorite tip is a method we saw other people using along the way to take pressure off their legs without stopping. We'll find out. One life hack, because our knees are already like that, we need to go backwards. You go down, but backwards. By the time we reached the starting station, it was 3 p.m. and surprisingly, there was no line for the cable car at all. This was our day in the Dolomites on Seceda. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to click. See you on our next day in the Dolomites, which promises to be even more amazing.
You got something to say, tell me everything. You've been keeping us safe so long. Do not worry, afraid.
Take coffee to yourself.
You brought you some tea, some
Take что ли? Oh my.
It's so no needed, but it's so cool.